Good afternoon. I welcome the friends from media fraternity to this special briefing which is being conducted regarding the ongoing visit of the Honorable President of India to Malawi. To brief you on the visit, I have with me Shri Arun Kumar Chatterjee, Secretary CPV and OIA, Ministry of External Affairs, Shri S. Gopal Krishnan, High Commissioner of India to Malawi, Shri Mayank Singh, Joint Secretary East and Southern Africa, Ministry of External Affairs, and Srimati Navika Gupta, Deputy Press Secretary to India. Now I will request Secretary CPV and OIA to brief the media on the visit. Sir.
Thank you, Rajesh. Masbera Bhavanji. Namaste and good afternoon. Dear friends from the media, thank you for joining us for this special briefing on the visit of the Honorable President of India to Malawi. As you all know, the Honorable President of India embarked on a state visit to 3 countries on 13th October 2024 from India. I have already briefed you on her visit to Algeria from 13th to 15th October and to Mauritania on 16th October. She is now on the final leg of her state visit, and that is to Malawi. The President of India arrived in Malawi on the morning of 17th October from Mauritania. This is a historic visit, as it is the first ever visit by the President of India to Malawi in the last 60 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations between the 2 countries. Upon her arrival in Lilongwe yesterday, as a special gesture, Vice President of Malawi, His Excellency Mr. Michael Biswick-Usi, received the Honorable President at the airport, where she was accorded a ceremonial guard of honor by the Malawi Defense Forces. There was a 21-gun salute in her honor. The Vice President thereafter introduced Honorable President to several members of the Malawi Cabinet of Ministers and other senior dignitaries. Friends, coming to the background of this visit, India was one of the first countries to establish diplomatic relations with Malawi soon after the country's independence in 1964. India and Malawi share a cordial and friendly relationship reinforced by strong people-to-people ties which span over 140 years. Malawi remains one of our special partners in Africa, and India has strong development partnership with Malawi. It is in this context that the visit of the Honorable President assumes great significance. Coincidentally, this year also marks the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between our 2 countries. I must add here that our people-to-people ties predate our official relations and go back over a century. Now, coming to the engagements of the Honorable President began in the morning of 17th October with the India-Malawi Business Roundtable, where she delivered the keynote address. Minister of Trade and Industry of Malawi, His Excellency Mr. Sosten Alfred Gwenge, also attended this Business Roundtable, which was organized by the Confederation of Indian Industries. There were several other ministers from the Malawian government present at this forum. Over 60 companies from both India and Malawi participated at this event. In her keynote address, the Honorable President of India observed that there was immense scope for enhancing cooperation between India and Malawi in several fields, including agriculture, mining, energy, and tourism. She expressed the belief that this roundtable would prove to be an important milestone in developing trade and economic cooperation between the two countries. The forum is continuing even today. Later in the evening of 17 October, a community interaction was held where the Honorable President of India addressed the community members of Indian origin and Indian nationals who are living in Malawi. The Indian diaspora in Malawi is estimated to be nearly 15,000. Our friendly bilateral relations are reinforced by the strong people-to-people ties. In her address, the Honorable President appreciated the contribution of the Indian diaspora to the growth and development of Malawi and described them as an important bridge between the two countries. She urged them to take part in the development journey of India. The engagements of the Honorable President of India began today morning by laying of a wreath at the National War Memorial in Lilongwe, which also commemorates the fallen Indian soldiers during the two world wars. Thereafter, she visited and paid tributes at the mausoleum of former President of Malawi, Dr. Kamuzu Banda. Honorable President thereafter held official talks with President of Malawi, His Excellency Dr. Lazarus McCarthy Chakwera, at the State House. There was a tete-a-tete between the two leaders, followed by delegation-level talks. The meetings were extremely warm and friendly. During the meeting, both leaders discussed a wide range of issues on the bilateral cooperation between India and Malawi. Both sides reaffirmed their mutual trust and strong commitment towards enhancing the bilateral partnership for progress and prosperity of the people of both the countries. Both leaders agreed to enhance cooperation in the areas of capacity building, economic engagement, development partnership, and people-to-people exchanges. Following the bilateral talks, both the leaders witnessed the signing and exchanging of 4 memorandums of understanding in the fields of art and culture, cooperation on youth matters, sports cooperation, and pharmacopoeial cooperation. I would just like to give you a little bit of idea about each of the MOUs that were signed. The MOU on sports cooperation will provide for a framework to strengthen and encourage cooperation between India and Malawi on sports matters through events and activities organized by both countries on the basis of reciprocity and mutual benefit. The MOU on cooperation on youth matters between the two countries will focus on strengthening cooperation between India and Malawi in areas such as youth exchange programs, youth conferences, emerging youth issues, among others. The one on cooperation in the field of arts and culture will strengthen and deepen friendly cultural relations between both countries in the field of music, dance, theatre, art, archaeology, archives, library, and museum, to name a few. The one on pharmacopoeial cooperation will ensure better scope for development of generic medicines and availability of affordable medicines in Malawi. It will also enhance the ability of regulatory public health authorities of both the countries to meet the needs of their respective populations and provide opportunities for technical cooperation in areas which are of mutual benefit. Following the signing of these 4 MOUs, the two leaders also witnessed the symbolic handing over of 1,000 metric tons of rice and the Babatron cancer treating machine to Malawi. Both these are gifts as a goodwill gesture from India to Malawi. As a humanitarian initiative, the Honorable President of India also announced the setting up of a permanent artificial limb replacement center for the people of Malawi. The Honorable President of India invited President Dr. Chakwera to visit India, which was graciously accepted. The mutually convenient dates for the visit would be finalized through the normal diplomatic channels. Friends, the visit of the Honorable President of India is continuing, and later in the evening today, President Chakwera will be hosting a state banquet in honor of the Honorable President of India at the State House. Tomorrow, Honorable President of India will be visiting the Sri Radhakrishna Temple in Lilongwe, which was established more than 50 years ago. To boost the tourism potential of Malawi, she will also be visiting the Lake Malawi before her departure for India from Malawi. Before concluding, friends, I would like to mention that this first ever presidential visit to Malawi will add a new chapter in the history of bilateral relations of India and Malawi. It reinforces the long-standing friendship between India and Malawi and sets the stage for elevating our multifaceted partnership with Malawi to greater heights. Zikomo Kwamberi. Thank you. Now I would open the floor. If you have any questions, me and my team, we would be very happy to answer to them.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, sir. I am Ajit Deveri, Senior Correspondent, DD News. Can you throw the light current status business and trade between India and Malawi?
India and Malawi.
My name is Nshinti Meki from Nation Publications Limited. I just wanted you to, give a bit more details on setting up of this artificial limb replacement center. How soon is this going to take off? Because I know Malawians have got huge expectations. Thank you.
My name is Weston Gota from Zodiac Broadcasting Station. I just want you to make some clarifications on the issue of the cancer center, considering that the issue in Malawi had deadlines, and we had seen our cancer center being extended from time to time. So I'd like you to make some clarifications on that, on the issue of cancer center. Yeah. I may have presented the issue, maybe, but the issue of cancer treatment, we had.
Cancer treatment.
Yes. So we had a center, or we have a center under construction, which we have seen extended from time to time, the deadlines, and we also see that patients continue to be flown to India to get treatment. So I would like to get a clarification on that, how that is going to pan out, and see that Malawians are treated in the country.
Yeah, my name is Rebecca Shimcheka from Times Group. I wanted to find out, Malawi has been borrowing a lot of money from India, and now they're supposed to be paying back. I don't know if you, during the talks, the president and our president, if they touched that, and if it's going to be a way that perhaps India would forgive some of the loans to Malawi, because most of the loans that Malawi government took did not materialize, did not do its work. Thank you.
Sir, you just mentioned about the goodwill gesture of how India has extended about 1,000 metric tons of rice and also some medical equipments. Also, I would like to ask you whether there has been any talks about extending more lines of credit from the Indian government to Malawi in social or any other sector.
Yeah. Okay. Let me start with the issues of when we are looking at say the trade and commercial relations between India. If I start from there, then as I just mentioned that our trade relations is just not of today, but these are historic and they really go back to the 19th century, which coincided with the arrival of several Indian tradesmen, mainly from Gujarat and to the African subcontinent. Now, Malawi, being an LDC, is also the beneficiary under Government of India's duty-free tariff preference schemes, which were introduced in April 2008. We have removed the quota for import of pigeon peas from Malawi, and the bilateral trade between India and Malawi has also been growing, and as per the 21-22 data that I have, the bilateral trade stood at around $256 million US, though we had expected that the COVID pandemic would push it down, but we are happy that the trade continued. India also happens to be one of the largest investors in Malawi, with over $500 million worth of investments. If I were to touch upon the current relationship that is there between India, as I mentioned in my briefing, that both our countries have very cordial and very, very friendly relationship. This is based on mutual respect, cooperation, and very strong people-to-people contacts. We were one of the first countries to establish diplomatic relationship with Malawi soon after this independence. And our contacts, as I mentioned, is not of today, but goes back almost 140 years. Our common faith in democratic values and pluralism makes India and Malawi mutual, natural partners. And this partnership has been reinforced by regular visits and high-level contacts. India remains one of the major development partners of Malawi. Besides strong bilateral relationship, our countries also work closely in several multilateral fora on various issues of common interest. Our partnership for progress and prosperity is poised to further expand and deepen across diverse areas following this first historic visit of the Honorable President of India to Malawi. Regarding the Cancer Treatment Center, we are expecting and that the process of setting it up, completion would take place very, very soon, and the treatment of patients will start at the earliest. It would be at this moment difficult for me to commit any timelines. So we would, I would just request you for this moment to take note that it is going to happen very soon. Yeah. So as my High Commissioner points out, that hopefully by next month this should start functioning, and we are just waiting for the source material for the commencement of the Babatron equipment following which the treatment of patients will start. Regarding the question on the artificial limb center that you mentioned, a camp was recently held in Malawi, which was conducted by the Jaipur Foot. This was deeply appreciated here. Given the response to this temporary camp that we witnessed, it has now been decided, like the Honorable President today made an announcement, that we will establish a permanent camp as a fitment center for the Jaipur Foot. We already have most of the machinery required for this fitment. We are getting more artificial limbs and would be identifying the space at a local medical center to start the fitment camp. All I can say is that the process is going on, and very soon we will be able to announce its commencement. So that day is not very far off. Madam, your question regarding the whether the issue of restructuring or repayment was discussed. We would like to just inform you that there was a request from the Malawi government for debt restructuring, and the government of India has agreed to the request for the deferment of the debt payment. We are also committed to provide any debt relief to the government of Malawi if necessary. Our technical teams, that is both from the government of Malawi side as well as the government of India side, we are working, and we are very, very confident that we will be able to arrive at mutually convenient solutions on this matter. The last question was whether any further LOC, line of credit, is being talked about. At this moment, we are not discussing any line of credit with a fresh line of credit. Lines of credit are extended only once when there is a request from the recipient government. We have some of the lines of credit which are still under execution, so we are at this moment focusing on completing the works that are going on of the existing lines of credit. I hope I have answered and covered all the questions. Yeah, on the products that you mentioned, we are still in discussions with the Malawian government regarding the duties that we are talking about. So this process is still going on, and we haven't reached a finality as such, but these issues are on the table.
The normal question is, what is the future of India and Malawi relationship if you look forward?
No, as I have just mentioned, that today we are opening a new chapter in the relationship between India and Malawi. We had very excellent talks between the two presidents today in Malawi, both at the tete-a-tete level as well as at the delegation level. The talk shows excellent promise of a very bright future in terms of the partnership between India and Malawi. We are extremely hopeful that we will be expanding our cooperation in all the areas that I mentioned. We are hoping that we would see more Indian investments. We are hoping that there would be expansion in trade and expansion in the basket of goods that both India and Malawi trade. So in a single sentence, if I would were to say, then I can say that we are looking at a very, very promising future in India-Malawi relationship.
Sir, I think we have exhausted all the requests for questions. Since there are no more questions, with your permission, sir, I would like to conclude this special media briefing. So thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for being with us today. And the briefing is concluded. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today for this briefing.